What's up, E3 members? Here at Fort Lauderdale Executive Airport, one of the busiest GA airports in the country, and specifically we're at Banyan Air Services, their FBO, which is consistently ranked in the top 10 FBOs in the country. We're going to get a tour today of the FBO, but really we're going to talk about FBO etiquette and some of the do's and don'ts when you're arriving at an FBO. Hey, John.
Hi, John.
Hey.
Welcome to Banyan.
Yeah, thanks for having us here.
Yeah,
I appreciate you taking the time because we're going to talk a little FBO etiquette. Before we do that, will you tell me a little bit about your role here at Banyan and a little bit about the FBO?
Sure. I'm the Vice President of FBO Services, so I oversee the entire operation here at Banyan.
Okay. Which is a little bit going on here. I mean, from obviously servicing aircraft, making sure people that they come in, they're taken care of to get where they're going or where they're going when they're leaving.
Correct.
Also some maintenance as well too, right?
Sure. So we've got a full service FBO, a pilot shop, an MRO with turbine maintenance, avionics, aircraft sales, parts department. So, and now we just recently partnered with a paint shop. So really, we're Fort Lauderdale's one-stop shop if you're an aircraft guy.
And so we're fortunate to be here at Banyan. We're going to get the tour of like the creme de la creme, as I would say, of FBOs. But we want to talk about some etiquette, some do's and don'ts that are obviously applicable here at Banyan, but not every FBO is created equal, which again, if you're watching this or if you've been here, I think you can attest to that. But can we talk to the process? When I say you're going to go to an FBO or you're going to fly somewhere, you do a lot of mission planning. Can you tell me how an FBO might fit into that mission planning process?
Sure. We're really your extension of your flight department, whether you're an aircraft owner or you're a corporation. We're here to make sure we cross the I's and dot the T's, shall you say, to make your arrival or departure into Fort Lauderdale, into Banyan, seamless.
But that's applicable everywhere you go, and every airport is different, every FBO is different, volume of traffic is different. But I think it's really important that, you know, when you're planning for weather NOTAMs, looking at anything that might be weird about the flight, fuel planning, etc., a call to the FBO or looking at the website at a minimum is probably warranted. Would you agree?
Oh, 100%. Give us a call or give your FBO a call. Shoot us an email because you never know, latest and greatest things that are happening at the airport in the city during your stay. As we're talking today, I've got the Fort Lauderdale Boat Show going on, so South Florida is seeing an influx of corporate traffic that, that's just out of the ordinary.
What are some things people should ask if they call the FBO? What information do they need to get out? What information do they need to give the FBO operator?
Sure. Ask us what's going on. Is there anything special? Are there any NOTAMs, construction going on at the airport? Advise us of their arrival time. Are they in need of a rental car? Are they going to have a driver? Is there going to be security coming out? Are there hotel reservations that we need to be aware of that we can assist? Basically, it's our job to make that arrival seamless.
And there's some things too that, as you're mission planning, looking at these different airports, some basic things like where do you enter the ramp is also one thing. Or an operation like Banyan, there's not just one spot on the field you guys are operating at.
Correct. And really the best way is looking at the website. Our website, for example, we have on our arrival, our departure areas marked on the airport diagram as well. But great questions to ask. When you call and say, where are we coming? Or, giving us a holler on uni-com, 20 minutes out, just to make sure that we'll have your car ready, the air's on, you're coming to a nice cool car in South Florida as a benefit.
Right, yeah, 100%.
But also, getting you in the right spot, because we do put our helicopters in a different location, say, than the general public. For sure.
Absolutely. So I think it starts with the phone call. It starts with looking at the website, wherever you can get that information from. It's really important because, again, weird things might be happening. A boat show might be in town, which is taxing that operation, or cars might be down, rental cars might be available, and you can alleviate a lot of headache, stress, and strain by just making that phone call ahead of time. Now, I would like to jump out onto the ramp, and maybe we can talk about once you actually get there, some of the pro tips for operating inside or operating into an FBO.
Yeah, we'll do. Come on.
John, now we're out here where the magic happens, out on the ramp. We talked about, mission planning. First thing, make the call. You might not get all the information you need right away, but I would like to point out Banyan operates on the south side and the north side here. If you call, are you going to get told which FBO you're going to in that phone call, or is it going to be real time?
No, you're going to get told which location, which entrance to the ramp. You're going to see, as you can see behind us, we've got 4 different feeders that enter the ramp, and so for the safety of the aircraft coming in, the folks on the ramp, we're very specific as far as communicating which entrance to enter at Banyan.
And that's the bigger airports, especially where there's multiple FBOs. You guys know, talking to air traffic control, let them know which FBO you're going to. Ideally, if it's a north or a south location or a different location, you can give that to them ahead of time. But again, it might be on the ramp, it might be talking to a uni-com frequency, figuring out how you're entering the ramp, because as you mentioned, there's a lot going on. Planes might be towed in or out or taxiing in and out. So it's important to get that information as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, you come into the ramp, what are some things that linemen tell you as the boss that pilots might mess up or are annoying to them that guys could watch out for?
Sure. The big thing is just not following the instructions. Here at Banyan, we have a follow me cart with a line guy that's showing you exactly where to park. Oftentimes they'll go off on their own way. They want to go over there, and what that just leads is a potential safety hazard. Our guys know where to park for whatever reason. It may be we have 5 Gulfstreams coming right after you, and we just want to make sure that you're not getting blasted, jet blasted, so we may move you off to the side. But there's a multitude of reasons. But number one is just not following the instructions of the line guy and parking where they ask you to park.
Absolutely. Obviously, you're the pilot in the command taxi, so you make sure your wingtips are clear and things like that. Obviously, things like that are never a given. But again, you might not have the whole picture, and that lineman is out there managing a lot of pieces that you might not be aware of. So listen to him is important. Nighttime, is there any kind of differences operating other than the fact that you can't really see? Are there any annoyances or?
Not necessarily an annoyance. One thing that we do see a lot is when you do come on the ramp, just courtesy to help out the line guys. They're used to working in low light conditions. Turn your landing light off once you hit the ramps are typically lit. Now, if you're coming into a facility that's not Banyan, it's after hours, by all means, keep your light on so you can see any potential hazards that are out there.
That's kind of what I do nowadays, flying all around the world. You're turning your landing light off usually when you're in a well-lit ramp, right? If it's not well-lit, you're gonna leave your landing light on. But you can see the line guys there. You can clearly see your established line, and it's safe to do so. So if you don't feel comfortable or safe, I'd say leave the light on. Those guys are gonna be squinting. But if you can see the ramp and it's well lit, a little courtesy, because again, that enhances their safety and be able to watch wingtip clearances and other linemen out there as well. So.
Right, 100%. And I tell this to pilots all the time. If you're not comfortable with what my ladies and gentlemen are doing, stop the airplane. We can tow you and get you to where you are safe.
Stopping's always free. It might make some people irritated, but it's a heck of a lot easier than bending metal for sure.
It's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, so let's say park the aircraft. What are some things that people should be thinking about when they're interacting with the linemen getting out on the ramp for the first time?
Sure. I think the main thing is just communicating, one, that the brakes are off the aircraft, because it's typically going to be towed, to prevent any unnecessary damage. Make sure your brakes are off, only if the line guys or gals have given you the chalks in signal.
Right.
Number 2, letting them know a departure date and departure time. And then the rest from there will be helping you with baggage, having your car service, rental car, personal car at the aircraft to greet you here at Banyan.
I used to be a lineman way back in the day, but I would say too, another useful bit of information I would get If you have one of those idiosyncrasies or a plane that has an idiosyncrasy, something that's kind of not the norm, as you'd say,
Right.
communicating that to the people on the ramp so that they know, like, don't tow this, or I'm gonna need a ground power unit. Like,
Right.
things like that are usually pretty helpful to, again, give the lead time so that they can plan and manage everything that's going on around here.
Yeah. Not only that, it's, if it's a unique fueling sequence, pilot needs to be present. I want to be here for my fueling. By all means, let us know, and we're going to make that happen.
And usually, like, again, if there's those weird type scenarios that aren't the norm, most pilots communicate that. But if you get busy, calling back, letting them know. But we've all seen pictures of planes up on their tails because of a weird fueling scenario, or wings tipping, things like that. So you want to communicate, and that's where it starts with a phone call, gets reiterated at the line, but then you go inside too, and then I imagine doing some interaction there with people at the desk.
Right. Then we're going to talk to our customer service team, where they're going to put pen to paper, document it, confirm it back to you, giving you your reservation numbers for your rooms, your hotels, your Airbnb, arrangements, things like that. So, and then confirming the fuel request a second time,
Right.
if there's one given.
We call it get home-itis.
Right.
Usually you're ready to get home when you're leaving here, or get to a place like this when you're going to go vacation.
Yep.
So I think it's easy to let the FBO potentially drop out of your cross-check. You're worried about fuel, you're worried about weather, you're worried about NOTAMs, what approach you're flying in. So you almost can let your guard down when you're coming into an FBO like you've made it. But until the chalks are in, you haven't made it. So fly the airplane to the chalks is one of the things that gets thrown around there a good bit. But the FBO, again, is a critical piece to complete the entire mission when you're flying it, and then when you're out the door, it's the last place you're stepping off before you get into the airplane. So I think communication is probably like my big takeaway from this, which it's woven throughout aviation. But
Right.
what would you have to say about communication when it comes to FBO etiquette?
Yeah, you can't over communicate. Over communicate is best. In fact, while you're all amped up and you get on the ramp and you finally can be able to put your shoulders down because you got here, everybody's safe. Give that FBO your departure information, because the last thing they're going to want to do is scramble,
Right.
because you forgot to tell them, I need my airplane out at 0800 on a Saturday, and you call at 7:30.
It's not instantaneous.
Right.
So it's not the iPhone. It takes moving pieces, especially if there's weather while your plane is here and it gets hangared, it might get stacked in the back of the hangar. So
Correct.
That early planning, that communication piece is key. So John, I really appreciate you taking the time to show us around. It's been great talking with you, and I really appreciate it.
Thank
you. E3 members, I hope you enjoyed this kind of tour of the FBO, talking some do's and don'ts. If you haven't been down to Banyan at Fort Lauderdale Executive, you need to come down, because you're in for a treat when we're talking FBOs. And again, some of the things we're talking about today, I guarantee you will not find at every FBO, when again, they're consistently ranked in the top 10. So swing down to Fort Lauderdale, check out Banyan. It's quite the time. John, thanks again.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right, everybody. So I have Raul here from Banyan Air, and I've known Raul for 20 years. I mean, Banyan Air has bought all 7 of our aircraft with Mike O'Keefe here at Banyan Air, and Raul's been here since day one that I got here. So he knows a lot about the line and stuff, and he's always my go-to guy. So we're just gonna hit some nitty-gritty on FBO etiquette with Raul. Now again, we're here at Banyan, and they're exceptional. They're always in the top 10. So you might not see everything they do here at Banyan at every FBO, but some of the basic stuff is important and things. But like Raul, let's say when an aircraft's coming in, even like during the night, like what is some of the stuff that they should be thinking about when they're coming on the line here at Banyan?
At least here at Banyan, we're gonna try to have, we're gonna have chalk. We're gonna marshal you in. Just one details. If it's night, just turn your lights off, because we cannot guide you if we're blind. If your lights are shining at us, we won't be able to guide you properly.
So your taxi lights, obviously,
Taxi
right?
lights,
Obviously,
just
hopefully your landing
yeah.
lights are off by then. But
Correct.
So it blinds you guys at night, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
All the time.
What else should we be looking for, like if you're on night right now, that we need to worry about coming in? Is it just follow me card, or how do you guys
It's
bring
gonna
them
be a
in?
follow me car, or it's gonna be one of us with wands, marshal you in, guide you in. Just trust us, and we'll guide you in.
Okay. And what about even during the day? I mean, what is things that people need to worry about here?
Same procedure, just keep always, watch for golf carts, but we try to have them away from you. And when you taxi in, just follow your line guy. We've been doing it for a long time, and basically just trust us. We'll guide you, we'll chuck you in, and we'll know the signal for chucks, and that's basically it.
Okay. And what about when we're leaving out here? Because I know you guys do cones, carpets. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. What do pilots need to look out for or need to do other than their typical pre-flight when they're heading out?
Usually, when we have cones, again, we're gonna try to pull them out from you here at Banyan, the carpets, the chalk. But if you maybe some other FBOs, look for your cones, pull them out, chalks, and just same thing. We'll march you. We'll be standing in front of the airplane, guide you in left or right, and you'll be on your way.
Okay. Now, I will say for pilots out there that one thing I think is some best practices you probably should do is when you get to an FBO, if you plan on you're going to get towed or something like that, look at their equipment. Look at the FBO's equipment. I mean, fortunately here at Banyan, they have a lot of state-of-the-art equipment and stuff, but there's different kinds of equipment they have. Now, if you have an aircraft that maybe your gear is sensitive or you got to pull the pin or something or whatever it may be situational aware of the FBO and what equipment they have and what are they going to use to tow it. I know that there are a lot of aircraft that are sensitive to the strap. What they call them, the Electras or something?
The Electras, yeah.
So, that strap goes around that gear. If the line guys don't put it in the right place, you have stuff on your gear that could be broken. So you got to either communicate with the line guys if you have a sensitive gear with some tabs or something on there, or you just got to, hey, remind them, make sure that it only gets on that strut. If you're very sensitive, watch them. Now, some aircraft you might just say, hey, we just want you to use the tow bar. Don't tow it with the Electra or something. But
we'll
you guys kind of already know that.
Yes.
You do, but not FBO already knows
not
that.
FBO. Same thing if you're somebody else, some other FBOs, your scissors, this is an airplane, it has to be disconnected. The pins, at least have the pins by the door. We'll put them up for you, but just make sure, don't forget to pull the pins so we could, pin the airplanes.
Okay. What else when it comes to equipment do you think that pilots should, do we pretty much cover that? I mean, that's really the biggest
That's
issue,
biggest,
right?
just the pins, yeah, basically, for hawkers and things like that, phenoms,
Gulfstreams,
Gulfstreams.
Conquest.
You know about that?
We won't talk about the Conquest, but no, but that's kind of a quick tip for you guys too. What would you say, I don't want to be negative, but what would be like the top 2 or 3 things that like drive you guys crazy when pilots come in that it would only make their life easier and your life easier if they didn't do it?
Just give us notice. If you know you're flying, you're doing your flight plan, and if you look in the back, your airplane's back there, it's going to take at least 2 hours to pull it out. Just give us a heads up. It's just courtesy. Give us a call, 2 hours heads up minimum, and we'll have you ready to go.
Yeah, so that's, obviously you guys have about 100 hangars here at Banyan. You got Banyan North, you got Banyan South, and so you guys need 2 hours. Obviously if it's a really small FBO, but the point is just be aware.
Be aware.
Like if you're there for a weekend and you kind of scope out the FBO when you got there and you kind of see that it's like that, then try to give them enough notice and stuff.
Please.
So that's one. What's another one like maybe that might drive you guys crazy on the line that pilots do?
Well, sometimes when they taxi out and they have to hold there and they just full power blast out of here. Blast everybody over here.
Prop wash, jet wash.
Jet wash, yep.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Actually, even today in our little E3 Piper Cub, we were like, well, wait a minute, we can't start it here because there's people in their cars. Let's turn it and be conscious of our prop wash.
Yep.
So yeah, that's important, huh? What's another one?
That's it. What we mentioned earlier about taxiing in with the lights on, and that's basically it.
Okay. So, so if a pilot comes in here and they don't know, or they're concerned, or they're not sure, and they either see you guys or they don't, but even if they're just not sure, is it better they just stop and then just get you guys on the radio, shut down, whatever. It's easier to do that than to hit somebody's plane, yeah?
Yes, definitely. Yep.
So, okay. Anything else maybe, or you want to add that would be great if pilots didn't do or they did do?
Just be courteous to each other, to your line guys. We're here for you. We're here to help you. Just help us, and that's it.
Yeah. At Banyan, we're kind of in one of the main hangars, but Banyan, they got big coffee machines, they got ice makers. They really take care of us here at Banyan. So, again, if you get to South Florida, make sure you come to Banyan at FXE. But so, Raul, appreciate your insights, and we'll probably do some more with you about specifics on, towing and all that. Maybe things pilots should know.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate your time.
All right. Thanks.
Well, E3 members, it's awesome to be here at Fort Lauderdale Executive at the Banyan FBO. What an incredible FBO. Again, one of the top 10 in the country. Hopefully you gleaned something out of today's episode about FBO etiquette, a tip or trick that might help you out on your next flight.